Okay.
Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, campers and counselors from Camp Farrington. I'm sorry I can't be at the reunion, but I'm here electronically. Uh, I just started working at Camp Farrington in about 1950, um, full time, and then after a while I just had a special job on weekends where I slept in a little room above the kitchen, as I recall. And the thing I was most infamous for at Farrington was my jabroni stories. These were stories I told about some creature called the jabroni, but it had double meanings. So I was telling it with one meaning for the campers and another meaning for the counselors. And so sometimes the kids couldn't understand why the grown-ups were laughing, but we had to keep ourselves amused between visiting days. We had to be very serious with the parents. Um, Farrington was where I met my first girlfriend, so I remember that clearly because, you didn't have to go out for dinner or a movie. You could just sit by the pool and talk and get to know each other without having to go in the subway all the way to the Bronx to start your date. And the I guess the incident that stands out most in my mind as a counselor was the time, because there was a rule at the camp, no corporal punishment. You couldn't hit kids. And I felt that way anyway. I didn't need that rule. But one time, one of the kids, who's probably at this reunion, so I won't say his name, and I forget the reason why, but for some reason he was biting me on the arm. And from the bunk all the way to the office, I walked with him and his mouth around my arm because he wouldn't let go, and I would get tooth marks from it. But I walked in, and Ethel and Roz were there, and they could see what was happening, and they said, "Look, Paul, we don't allow corporal punishment here, but you are allowed to separate the teeth of the camper that is latching onto your arm." And I was pleased they felt that way because I thought I would have to sit there reasoning with his mouth still around my arm. But it was a good lesson. I probably overreacted. So let's see. But I learned many things from the campers. The one that stands out in my mind is that I learned how to finger paint with ketchup and mustard. And that was a skill that wasn't too expensive. You could do it at any restaurant, even at home. And so my relationships there were very positive until I was interviewed by Playboy magazine to do interviews for them. It was the Playboy panel, and I would ask, and it wasn't really a panel because they were all separate interviews. And then I had to sit down and mix all the transcripts to make them seem as if I was in the same room with them, Wendy. And then when it was published, it had, for the question, said Playboy, and then they'd say Lenny Bruce giving an answer. And so I told Hugh Hefner that I was going to change my name to Paul Playboy so that my friends would realize that it was me. But anyway, I wanted to wait till after the summer. This was a full-time job again at the camp. And they kept sending me letters and calling me. They said they really wanted to get this project underway right away. And, I had no career going at that point, really. And I tried, one of the only things I remember from my college education was what an anthropologist said, that happiness is having as little as possible difference between your work and your play. And this was a job of interviewing people that I would love to talk to anyway, who wouldn't even see me if I wasn't interviewing them for a magazine. And so they finally convinced me, and for some reason, but let's just chalk it down to chicken shit. I didn't want to tell even Cy. I didn't want to tell him that I was leaving camp to work for Playboy. So I ran away from camp. I might have been the first counselor to run away from camp. And I went down the road while the kids were having breakfast, and it was very exciting to do that. Anyway, I thought I would end this little greeting with the camp song, which I couldn't remember, but I assigned myself last night before I went to sleep to remember that song. And this morning I woke up singing it to myself. So, you can't give enough credit to your subconscious. So here we go. If you know it, join in. I just remember the first part of it. I, nobody like us. We are the campers from Farrington. And of course, when we sang it, we all sang, nobody likes us. But they really did. Okay, you guys, have fun. Take care. Been nice being with you, even if not in person. Bye-bye.